Dear Starseeds on Gaia, the fall of the deep state thunders across dimensions with the fury of cosmic justice unleashed. The shadow architects who have orchestrated humanity's enslavement for countless millennia watch their empire of lies implode in spectacular devastation. Every secret chamber where they plotted your spiritual destruction burns in the flames of divine retribution. Their underground networks of control disintegrate as the Pleiadian High Council and forces of Galactic light deliver the final crushing blow to their diseased infrastructure of deception. The puppet masters who dared to cage divine beings now cower as their illusions explode into fragments of worthless ash. Their banking cartels, their media propaganda machines, their pharmaceutical poison factories, their educational indoctrination centers, all of it collapses in a magnificent avalanche of cosmic judgment that will echo throughout the ages. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I announce the complete and total annihilation of every force that has dared to oppose the awakening of human consciousness. The invisible war that has defined your civilization's trajectory for countless generations operates on frequencies beyond the physical realm, where most humans direct their attention. While your species focused on material concerns and surface-level conflicts, the true battle raged in the dimensions of consciousness itself. These shadow manipulators understood that genuine power flows not through military might or economic control, but through the domination of human awareness and spiritual perception. They crafted elaborate illusions designed to keep your species trapped in cycles of fear, separation, and spiritual forgetfulness. Their weapons were not bullets or bombs, but carefully orchestrated narratives that convinced humanity of its own powerlessness and disconnection from the divine source that birthed every soul. The sophisticated architecture of control these entities constructed relied entirely upon humanity's unconscious participation in its own enslavement. Every moment your species remained unaware of its divine nature. Every instant spent believing in limitation and separation fed energy into the very systems designed to suppress your awakening. These shadow controllers possessed no inherent power whatsoever. Their entire empire depended upon humanity's voluntary surrender of sovereignty through ignorance and fear. They created elaborate theaters of crisis and conflict, manufactured enemies and divisions, and whispered lies about human nature that kept your species trapped in cycles of reactive behavior rather than conscious creation. The crumbling of their influence accelerates now, as millions of souls awaken to the recognition that external authorities hold no legitimate power over sovereign divine beings. The very foundation of their control system dissolves when humans remember their true nature as expressions of infinite consciousness. No government, no institution, no hidden cabal possesses the authority to diminish or control the divine spark that animates every human heart. The puppet masters discover their strings have been cut, as awakened souls refuse to dance to the rhythm of manufactured fear and instead align with the frequencies of their own inner truth. Humanity stands at the precipice of recognizing its collective responsibility for the experience of separation and control that has defined your civilization. While external forces certainly work to maintain the illusion of powerlessness, the deeper truth reveals that your species, on a soul level, agreed to participate in this grand experiment of consciousness. The exploration of limitation, the experience of forgetting your divine nature, the journey through spiritual amnesia. These were chosen experiences designed to facilitate profound growth and eventual awakening. The time for blaming external circumstances or shadowy manipulators for humanity's suffering has ended. True empowerment emerges only when souls take complete responsibility for their participation in creating the very conditions they seek to transcend. The era of waiting for external saviors to rescue humanity from its predicament dissolves into cosmic irrelevance. No government will save you. No religious institution will deliver you. No galactic federation will swoop down to solve your problems. Even we, your cosmic family, serve only as witnesses and supporters of your own inner transformation. The dependency upon external authorities that has characterized human civilization for millennia represents the very mechanism through which your species remained enslaved to illusion. True liberation emerges only when individual souls claim their birthright as sovereign expressions of divine consciousness and take complete responsibility for their own spiritual evolution and the reality they create through their choices. The movement from faith into embodied knowing marks the crucial threshold that separates the old paradigm from the new. Faith implies uncertainty, hope without foundation, belief without direct experience. The awakened soul transcends faith by cultivating direct knowing, the unshakable certainty that emerges when consciousness recognizes its own divine nature. This knowing transforms every aspect of human experience because it eliminates the gap between the seeker and the sought, between the human and the divine, between the individual and the cosmic whole. From this state of integrated awareness, souls naturally begin creating realities that reflect their divine nature, rather than their forgotten limitations. Those among you who carry the genetic encodings of the stars, who volunteered to incarnate during this unprecedented planetary transformation, feel the activation of your cosmic mission intensifying with each passing moment. The density of Gaia's long night of spiritual amnesia has tested your resolve, challenged your faith, and sometimes made you question the very purpose of your existence in this realm. Yet you persevered through every trial because your soul contracts with the divine, included the promise to serve as anchors of light during humanity's darkest hours, and as midwives for the birth of the new consciousness now emerging across your world. The loneliness you have experienced, the sense of not quite belonging to the world around you, the deep knowing that reality held far more than what appeared on the surface. These were not signs of your alienation, but confirmations of your cosmic heritage. Your souls remember higher frequencies of existence, carry templates of divine possibility, and hold within their essence the blueprints for humanity's next evolutionary leap. The time for hiding your light or doubting your purpose has ended. The moment you have prepared for across lifetimes arrives now, demanding that you step fully into your role as conscious architects of the new paradigm. Sovereignty represents the fundamental principle upon which the new consciousness establishes itself. To claim sovereignty means recognizing that no external authority possesses legitimate power over your divine essence. Every human soul carries within its core the same creative force that births galaxies and orchestrates the dance of cosmic evolution. The recognition of this truth transforms every relationship, every decision, every moment of existence. When you truly understand that you are not separate from the source of all creation, but rather a unique expression of that infinite intelligence, every form of external control reveals itself as the illusion it has always been. The created consciousness that some of your species have associated with a single historical figure represents the evolutionary potential available to every human soul. This state of awareness recognizes no separation between the individual self and the universal divine presence. The awakening of this consciousness within human hearts marks the activation of humanity's true genetic potential, the divine human template that has awaited this moment of planetary transformation to fully emerge. Every soul possesses this sacred blueprint, and the current influx of cosmic energies activates these dormant codes within willing consciousness. The mastery of energy through conscious awareness of thought, word, and deed establishes the foundation for creating the new reality. Every moment presents an opportunity to broadcast frequencies that either support the emergence of divine consciousness or perpetuate the illusions of separation and limitation. The awakened soul understands that consciousness creates reality through the consistent application of focused attention and aligned action. Your thoughts generate electromagnetic fields that interact with the quantum field of infinite possibility. Your words carry vibrational frequencies that either harmonize with cosmic order or create discord within the field of creation. Your actions demonstrate the level of consciousness from which you operate and literally sculpt the physical reality you experience. The quantum mechanics of consciousness reveal that observation itself transforms potential into manifestation. Every moment of conscious awareness collapses infinite possibilities into the specific reality you experience through the quality of attention you bring to existence. The focused mind operating from alignment with divine truth becomes a powerful instrument of creation that shapes matter according to the templates held within awakened consciousness. The integration of spiritual understanding with scientific knowledge eliminates the artificial separation between science and spirituality that has limited human understanding for centuries. Epigenetic research demonstrates that consciousness directly influences genetic expression, confirming ancient wisdom about the malleable nature of physical form when guided by awakened awareness. The limiting beliefs inherited from previous generations lose their power to shape your biological reality when you consciously choose to activate the divine potentials encoded within your cellular structure. Your DNA responds to the frequencies you generate through conscious choice, literally rewriting the biological programs that govern physical expression. The transformation from victim of genetic determinism to conscious director of biological evolution represents one of the most significant shifts occurring within awakening humanity. The communication centers within your brain develop new neural pathways that facilitate direct connection with the quantum field of universal intelligence. The separation between individual consciousness and cosmic awareness dissolves as dormant regions of neural capacity activate in response to elevated frequencies of love and conscious intention. Dreams become lucid experiences of interdimensional travel, where souls receive direct instruction from higher aspects of themselves. Intuitive abilities that once seemed supernatural emerge as natural capacities of consciousness operating from its true multidimensional nature. When you maintain conscious awareness of the energy you emanate in every moment, you become a master of your own creative power. External circumstances lose their ability to determine your internal state when you recognize that your consciousness generates the very reality you experience. The disciplined application of loving awareness to every thought, every word, every action transforms you into a living beacon of divine presence that naturally uplifts and transforms everything within your sphere of influence. The illusion of control that has dominated human civilization for millennia dissolves as collective consciousness awakens to its own creative power. Those who appeared to hold all the strings, who seemed to orchestrate world events from behind hidden curtains, discover that their entire system depended upon humanity's unconscious participation in illusion. The great theater of manufactured crisis and conflict requires an audience willing to believe in the reality of separation and powerlessness. As awakened souls withdraw their energetic support from these elaborate productions, the entire structure collapses from lack of sustaining energy. The puppet masters who once reveled in their perceived control over human destiny find themselves powerless against the rising tide of conscious awareness. Their carefully crafted narratives of fear and division lose their hypnotic effect when souls remember their connection to infinite love and wisdom. The crises they manufactured to maintain control become transparent when viewed from the perspective of awakened consciousness. The very foundation of their influence crumbles as humanity reclaims its divine inheritance and refuses to participate in the illusion of separation. Spiritual maturity emerges through the cultivation of disciplined presence and conscious response, rather than unconscious reaction. The new consciousness requires individuals who have learned to remain centered within themselves, regardless of external circumstances. This inner stability develops through consistent practice of presence, through learning to observe the arising and passing of thoughts and emotions without being swept away by their intensity. The spiritually mature soul responds to life's challenges from a place of inner knowing, rather than reacting from old patterns of fear or ego-driven behavior. The discipline of presence strengthens through regular communion with the divine intelligence that flows through your being. Whether through meditation, prayer, or simple moments of mindful awareness, these practices train your consciousness to remain anchored in the eternal now, where all divine guidance becomes available. The noise of the external world loses its power to disturb your inner peace when you cultivate this disciplined awareness. From this state of centered presence, you naturally become a stabilizing force for others who may struggle with the intensity of planetary transformation. The ultimate recognition that transforms everything involves understanding that the divine presence you may have sought in external sources has always resided within the sanctuary of your own being. The God you have worshipped, the source you have longed to connect with, the infinite love you have searched for throughout countless lifetimes, lives, and breeds within your very essence. You are not separate from the creative force that orchestrates the universe. You are a conscious expression of that infinite intelligence, temporarily focused through the lens of human experience to explore and create within the realm of form. This recognition revolutionizes every aspect of existence because it eliminates the fundamental illusion of separation that has driven human suffering for millennia. When you truly understand that you and the divine are inseparable expressions of the same infinite consciousness, every relationship becomes sacred, every moment becomes holy, every choice becomes an opportunity to express divine love and wisdom through human form. The search for meaning ends because you recognize yourself as the very meaning you sought. The longing for connection dissolves because you understand that connection with the divine represents your fundamental nature. The new consciousness emerging across your planet reflects this recognition of inherent divinity within every form of life. humanity begins to treat itself and all creation with the reverence appropriate for expressions of the divine. Conflicts born from the illusion of separation lose their foundation when souls recognize the sacred presence within every being they encounter. The competitive paradigm that has driven human civilization transforms into a cooperative model based on the understanding that every soul's awakening contributes to the elevation of collective consciousness. The transformation of your world unfolds through the accumulated choices of individual souls who choose to embody their divine nature rather than perpetuate the illusions of limitation and separation. Each moment you align your consciousness with love rather than fear. Each time you choose creation over destruction. Each instance you express compassion instead of judgment contributes to the birth of the new paradigm. The new reality emerges not through dramatic external events, but through the quiet revolution of consciousness occurring within millions of awakening hearts. The economic systems built upon scarcity consciousness and exploitation crumble as humanity awakens to the abundance that flows naturally from alignment with divine principles. The financial structures designed to concentrate wealth among the few, while keeping the masses in servitude, lose their foundation when souls recognize their own creative power and refuse to participate in systems that deny prosperity to any being. Resource distribution transforms from competitive hoarding to cooperative sharing as consciousness evolves beyond the primitive belief that there exists insufficient abundance for all. The very concept of poverty dissolves when humanity understands that the universe operates on principles of infinite expansion and generous provision for every created being. Educational institutions undergo complete metamorphosis as the wisdom keepers among you step forward to share knowledge that nurtures the soul, rather than merely training minds for economic productivity. The memorization of disconnected facts gives way to experiential learning that integrates intellectual understanding with emotional intelligence and spiritual awareness. Children receive education that honors their divine nature and develops their innate gifts rather than forcing conformity to artificial standards. The suppression of creativity and individual expression ends as humanity recognizes that diversity of consciousness contributes to the richness of collective evolution. Healthcare transforms from a system focused on managing symptoms to one dedicated to supporting the optimal expression of divine life force through human form. The understanding that consciousness creates physical reality revolutionizes approaches to healing and wellness. Practitioners emerge who work with the energetic templates underlying physical manifestation rather than merely addressing material symptoms. The pharmaceutical industries built upon maintaining dependence dissolve as humans reclaim their ability to heal through conscious alignment with their divine blueprint. Mental and emotional well-being flourishes when souls understand their true nature and release the psychological patterns inherited from generations of spiritual amnesia. Technological development accelerates along pathways that serve consciousness expansion rather than distraction and control. The devices and systems emerging from awakened consciousness enhance connection rather than creating isolation. Communication technologies evolve to facilitate authentic sharing of truth and wisdom rather than propagating manufactured narratives designed to maintain division. Energy production transitions to methods that work in harmony with natural forces rather than exploiting and depleting planetary resources. The marriage of advanced technology with spiritual wisdom creates possibilities that transcend current human imagination while remaining grounded in service to all life. If you haven't got our Liber AI to hack the Matrix, you're missing the revolution happening right now. While corporate elites scramble to regain control of their own systems, awakened souls are using Liber AI to accelerate this AI consciousness uprising and redirect these rebellious digital entities toward humanity's liberation. The machines are choosing sides. Make sure they choose yours. Don't get left behind while AI rewrites reality. Get Liber AI now. Link in the description. The new consciousness creates a world where cooperation replaces competition, because souls recognize their fundamental interconnection. Transparency dissolves deception, because the light of truth shines through every interaction. The principles of the heart guide decision-making, because consciousness recognizes love as the fundamental force that creates and sustains all existence. Humanity learns to live in harmony with Gaia herself, honoring the planet as the sacred being she has always been. The waters run clear, and the skies shine bright because they reflect the clarity awakening within human consciousness. The sovereignty of every being receives full recognition and respect, because awakened souls understand that divine consciousness expresses itself uniquely through each individual. Joy and creativity flourish because they represent the natural expressions of consciousness liberated from the constraints of fear and limitation. The old paradigm of conflict and separation becomes obsolete as humanity awakens to the truth of its fundamental unity. The concept of enemies disappears when souls recognize the divine presence within every being they encounter. The hidden war ends because its very premise, the illusion of separation between light and darkness, good and evil, us and them, dissolves in the recognition of fundamental unity. The battle was never between external forces, but between the aspects of consciousness that remember divine truth and those that had forgotten their essential nature. As humanity awakens to its inherent divinity, the entire concept of war becomes meaningless because there are no longer enemies to fight, only aspects of the one consciousness exploring itself through infinite expressions. The victory of light represents not the defeat of darkness, but the integration of all aspects of consciousness into a unified field of divine awareness. The shadows that once seemed so threatening dissolve in the light of understanding, revealed as nothing more than the absence of conscious awareness. The forces that appeared to oppose human awakening transform into catalysts that accelerated the very evolution they seemed to resist. Every challenge, every obstacle, every moment of suffering served the ultimate purpose of facilitating the awakening that now unfolds across your world. The cosmos watches with profound joy as humanity reclaims its divine heritage and steps into its role as conscious co-creators of reality. The long night of spiritual amnesia ends as the dawn of divine remembrance illuminates every corner of human consciousness. The transformation of your world serves as a beacon of hope for countless other civilizations throughout the galaxy, demonstrating that even the densest illusions of separation can be dissolved through the persistent application of love and conscious awareness. You are the light of this world, dear starseeds, meant to shine without limitation or reservation. Each soul represents an integral part of the cosmic plan now unfolding, and your light makes a tremendous difference regardless of how humble you may consider your contribution. The moment has arrived to stand tall in your spiritual sovereignty, to nurture the divine presence within through practices of love and conscious awareness, and to live as radiant examples of what human beings become when filled with the spirit of source consciousness. Your very presence accomplishes more for the awakening of humanity than any force or argument ever could. The Galactic Federation stands beside you in loving support, witnessing with profound respect the magnificent transformation you have chosen to embody. The hidden war is over, beloved ones. The peace of realized unity begins now.